Well, let's transition to the defensive side of the football in this game. And overall, I thought they had actually a pretty good day. Like the defensive line got to bend once or twice. We unfortunately we didn't get the fumble recovery off of Mario Addison, but the pressure was there. I thought the linebackers did an outstanding job. Najee Harris didn't blow up the game, which I had a feeling wouldn't happen because of their offensive line, but the Bills really dialed into that and kept him in check. I thought the safeties did really well. And if there's one thing I'm going to poke at this defense is the cornerback depth, I guess. You know, and I like I really like Levi Wallace, but these type of receivers that he was going up against, like Chase Claypool, and the shifty ones like Deontay Thompson with a little bit of who's very quick, I feel like are the hardest receivers for Levi to keep up with because he'll get big boyed or he'll get his hips turned and then it's over. But in general, I it, I thought that the Bills defense actually had a pretty good day, and Leslie Frazier had drawn up a relatively strong plan because their offense only got 16 points if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They did. You hold any team in the NFL to 16 points offensively. Especially when you have all the talent we have on the offensive side of the ball. I think if I told most people before that game that, hey, we're going to hold the Steelers to 16, do you think the Bills win? I think the resounding answer would be a pretty emphatic yes. I know they did end up with 23 points, but I'm not putting that one against the defense. I was encouraged by the run defense. I know they kind of have a little bit of a porous offensive line, but even without Starr in the game, I think we did a really good job of keeping the linebackers free. If you take out one of the runs from Najee Harris where he went for like 16, 20 yards, something like that, on the day he had like 15 carries, averaging like just over a yard per carry. So I think they did a really good job there. I didn't expect to see a crazy amount from the pass rush as far as actually getting home, just based on that whole offense being predicated on the ball coming out of Ben's hands. But I think they did flash at times. They weren't necessarily getting to the quarterback, but they were generating some sort of pressure. And then
Yeah.
just kind of as far as Levi Wallace goes, I mean, that's a position I wanted to upgrade this offseason, at least bring in some real bona fide competition for him. But I think overall he had a decent day. I mean, you have the one touchdown to Deontay Johnson, back corner of the end zone. I mean, he's there in coverage. It's a perfect pass. Both sides of the ball are getting paid to make plays, And
Yeah.
he does give up catches, but he's a very sure tackler. He's always there after they catch the ball and he makes the tackle. So I think it's the same thing as we said last year and all off season. When you're playing opposite of Trey, you're going to get picked on all game, and you're going to give up catches, you're going to give up yards. It's just kind of limiting those opportunities. But I was overall pleased with the defense.
Yeah, me too. And just to touch a little bit more on Levi, and I don't think the Bills necessarily did him any favors as well because they focused so much on the run game and, bottling up Najee, in my opinion, that it led to a lot of man coverage defense, which you and I both know this team is more of a zone-based scheme defense. So they kind of played to their weaknesses and almost left Levi, for the most part, out there on his own island. And unfortunately, he got torched a couple times. Now, you did mention that touchdown to Deontay Johnson was highly contested, and I actually thought Levi played that pretty well. he like tipped the ball if I'm not mistaken, but Deontay Johnson, who had drop issues all last year, somehow mustered up enough concentration and focus to readjust and get the ball off that tip pass and keep his feet in bounds. So credit to him for making that play. It was not an easy catch, and I thought Levi played that pretty well. Same thing with that defensive PI that they called on him against Claypool. I thought he played that perfect. People say turn your head around, but if he does that, then it just creates more separation for the wide receiver and the defensive back. I don't know. I just didn't agree with the penalties, and that kind of transitions us to the last part of the recapping this game, and that's special teams and outlogging coaching and I guess refereeing in here. But before we get started, do you want to say anything about that?
Oh, no, I think you pretty much covered it. I did just want to throw in there Taron Johnson, I thought, had a good game.
Oh, yeah. Real strong game from Taron. Yeah, I thought he did real well.
He was all over the place. He was, really excelling at what we see Taron Johnson for the last couple of years be really good at, helping out in the run game. A couple times where he did get beaten in his pass coverage, but I think overall he was kind of a guy I've been on the fence about, and I thought he looked pretty good.
Yeah, and lastly, Ed Oliver, I thought he'd had a pretty decent game. I've been telling you guys, he was good. He was good. So I'm looking forward to seeing him pan out in the rest of the season.